Hello again, Silver Creek Church. So glad you could join us yet again today. This is one of our weeks where I am giving you a catch-up, a little synopsis of what today's message is about and what we talked about in our groups following the message today. We are having such incredible conversations in these groups. I love being able to take and talk to people right after we speak about a topic and hear what they have to say or hear what they think and hear what they've heard. As a communicator, it's not just enough that we try our best and we practice and then we say what we got to say. It means a lot for us to hear back. Like, did you hear what I meant for you to hear? Too many times we assume that, well, I said it, so they must have heard it, but you've got to be able to hear, did you actually hear what I said? And so I really enjoy this time where we get to talk afterwards, and it's really been an incredible, incredible time. So the series that we're studying is called Brand New, series by Andy Stanley at North Point Community Church. And this series is phenomenal. We're in part 2. And so if you've missed any of these, you can go to brandnewseries.org, brandnewseries.org, and that'll give you the ability to be able to watch any episodes that you might have missed if you didn't get a chance to catch those with us. But I hesitate to lead people to watch it without being part of the groups, only because it's such rich, incredible information. I love for us to be able to talk about it, and even for me to be able to fill in some of the blanks at places where you might have questions. But this week it was all about how Jesus brought a new covenant. Jesus says, "I've come to do something brand new," and we talked about the fact that this is not something that was an addition to what had been done before. It wasn't like a version 2.0. It wasn't a part B. It wasn't and then here's some more. Jesus made it very clear throughout the Gospels in the New Testament that what he came to do was something new, that he was actually fulfilling all of the law with what he was about to change and what he was about to do. But he brought in almost a new ethic. He brought in a new way of loving others, completely loving others, in fact. And the cool thing that we learned today, and it was right in front of us the whole time, was that the new command, which is love your neighbor as yourself that Jesus spoke, that's been there all along. It was right there in the whole time in the previous covenants of Judaism. It was there. It was part of what they had learned. They had over 600 laws that you would have learned if you were part of the faith. And it was there all along. But what Jesus did was Jesus came on the scene and he said, okay, it's been here all along, but what you need to know is it's the most important one. In fact, Jesus said, you could do away with all the others and just do that one. That's the most important one of all. And so we talked about that today, that the temple model is what we used to describe the previous administration, if you want to call it that way. You can see the temple model still at work even today. You can look at many religions, many cultures, and you see the temple model at play. And the temple model always has the same components to it. It has a sacred place, and in that sacred place is a sacred text, a sacred book, or a sacred manuscript to which all of the truth of what they teach is given. And there's always a sacred man who is teaching that to sincere followers who carry out whatever they say should be done based on the sacred text in the sacred place, interpreted, taught by the sacred man. And the temple model was something that was in place for a long, long time, but when Jesus came on the scene, he gave us instructions to do something entirely brand new. And with the temple model, only the elite could meet the standard. Only the truly elite, only the really good at it, the ones who worked and made it a profession. In Judaism, they were called Pharisees, ones who spent their lifetime memorizing and trying their best, even going so far as to attach to their foreheads Scripture so that they could be reminded of it every day, to memorize it, to not break any of the laws or commands. And they were good at it. They were the elite, but they were the only ones who were good at it, the only ones who kept it for the most part. And so what ended up happening is over time, everyday folks like you and me Well, we end up becoming hypocrites. We end up becoming hypocrites because we're trying to take what's taught and we're trying to bring it down to an attainable level that we can handle. And the early Christians were trying to blend the old covenant with this new covenant that Jesus brought in, this brand new way of doing things. And when they tried to blend it, it didn't work well. And the Apostle Paul spoke out against this in Galatians. In Galatians chapter 5, in fact, is where the Apostle Paul talks about this crazy idea that these people, Christians, were having to blend the old with the new and take a little of the old and mix it in with the new because it's what they knew so well. Remember, these early Christians were Jews first who became Christ Jesus followers. So they thought everyone else should. They thought, well, if you want to be a Jesus follower, you got to first, become a Jew. And with that meant a special procedure done on a man's protected area. Something we don't like talking about. A very special procedure called circumcision. And so that was required to have circumcision, they said, to first become a Jew, and then you can be a Jesus follower. They were telling people who weren't already Jews, called Gentiles, is what the name they gave for those people. And so the Apostle Paul hears about this, and he's furious, absolutely furious, cannot believe that they're trying to blend the old and the new. The apostle goes so far as to say, why don't you just cut the whole thing off if you're going to go that far, which is, I mean, that's pretty severe, I think. But the point of what Apostle Paul is trying to say is you can't blend the old with the new. It's like oil and water, and it's gonna dilute. It's not going to mix well. And what will end up happening is people will get hurt in the process. He could foresee this happening. And so it comes down to grace versus law. I loved how, I'm going to steal what Andy Stanley used as the way to describe that. So I'm going to share what he said. I love how he described this. He said, here's what a picture of grace looks like. If someone was to give you a gift card and they say to you, you know what, we just appreciate you. This is no special reason. It's just a gift. Here's a gift card for $100. If they give you this $100 gift card, but then you feel awkward and you feel like, well, gosh, it's really nice of you, but you don't have to do that. Let me pay you for it. I mean, it's a great gift card, but let me give you some money for it. And the person's assistant saying, no, this is a gift. No, it's yours. And you're like, well, let me give you $50. They're like, no. How about I give you $25? All right, if it makes you feel better, give me $25 and we'll call it good. But see, as soon as you give back $25 for this $100 gift card, it's no longer a gift. It's now a discount card. You've now taken what would have been a gift card and made it a discount card because you paid for part of it. And what the Apostle Paul is trying to get across in this portion of Scripture, in this letter that he wrote in Galatians 5, is, look, you can't do something as part of this. Jesus Christ did it all. The grace is there. It's already been paid for you. And so I think that's a great description of it, because it helps us to see that, okay, for it to truly be a gift, I've got to accept the whole thing. And I can't expect that I'm going to do anything on my own to pay for part of it. The minute we begin to bargain is the minute that we start falling away from what grace truly is. Paul's trying to tell us that you can't bargain your way towards salvation. It's grace. It's all grace because of what Jesus Christ did for us. And in the temple model is all about vertical, right? In the temple model, let me put it this way. If you're like me, I grew up in church. I grew up with praying bedtime prayers before I went to bed at night as a child. Before I went to bed, I would pray, and the thing I always came up with in my prayer was taking an account for what happened that day and saying, okay, Lord, I'm sorry for what happened today. Will you please forgive me? And I basically had a few minutes where I made things right with God. And it's not that there's anything wrong with having bedtime prayers. There's nothing wrong with talking to God and praying to God and telling God how much you want to serve Him, how much you love Him. Of course, that's what we're supposed to do. The problem comes into play, and the way it starts looking like a temple model is when it becomes so vertical that I spend my whole time praying and talking about, okay, Lord, I want to be right with you. Make me in a right place with you. It's me, it's me, it's me, it's me. I want to make sure that I'm right. I want to make myself right. And by making myself right, I become self-rightness, self-righteousness. It works that way where all of a sudden I'm focused all about me and I'm not thinking about others anymore. And what the Apostle Paul is saying here, what Jesus is trying to tell us throughout the New Testament over and over again, is look at the people around you first and how are you treating those people? Because the old law said that if you commit adultery, that's a sin. If you commit murder, that's a sin. Jesus said, if you look at a woman with lust in your eyes, you've sinned. If you have hatred, anger towards another person, you've sinned. So Jesus raised the bar. Jesus said, no, it's not about following, keeping laws as far as finding, just give me the quick rules. Give me a list of the rules. What's the bullet list? Just give me the shortened version. How about the 10 Commandments? I'll follow those and I'm good, right? We're good, right, God? Vertically, I want to make sure that we're good. What do I have to do? What's the minimum I can do, God, to be right with you? And what Jesus said was, pull that aside for a second. It's all about how are you loving others as I have loved you. Jesus showed us that through grace, we're to love others with exponential amounts of grace because that much grace was shown to us. When we did wrong, our forgiveness was complete with what Jesus Christ did on the cross. And so it's up to us to share that with others, to show that to others. And if you want to know how your relationship and how your condition with God is doing, first, look at how you're treating others around you. If you're doing that right, if you're loving others, if you're doing for others as God's done for you, guess what's going to happen? You're going to find grace working through yourself. By giving out to others, you're going to find something is changing on the inside of you and you're becoming more and more Christ-like. So it's more about doing for others and not trying to look at myself. And then guess what happens? Myself starts to change. Myself starts to grow. Myself starts becoming more and more like Jesus. Because that's how he planned it all along. It was in there all along. Love your neighbor as yourself. And so it's just amazing when we look at this that it's more difficult. It's not like a scapegoat. It's more difficult to do it this way. But when you do it this way, when you love others the way God loved us, when you practice towards that, it's not like you're going to start doing it right away. It's going to take time. But as you begin working towards that, as you make effort to do that, you're going to find something changing on the inside of you. And how does it change? Not by looking at the inside of me and just say, okay, God, what do I need to do to fix it? Can I just say I'm sorry? Can we just move on? Okay, see you later. No, that's the old temple model. The old temple model is, okay, I'm sorry. Here's my sacrifice. Or Father, I'm in confessional. Please, whatever, all that. I'm sorry, okay? No. Hey, I prayed. Please forgive me. No. You're missing the point. You're missing the point. You don't just do something that's wrong and then just go, oh, I'd like to use my token, please. Sure, that you can do that, but you're missing the joy of salvation. You're missing the passion. You're missing the whole point of what Jesus wants us to learn. True happiness is found when you love others the way Christ loved you. That's when you're going to find peace. That's when you're going to find freedom. That's when you're going to find happiness. Is by giving out first and then watch what starts coming back in. Man, it's incredible. Whether we're doing it through generosity and how we handle our finances, by helping others around us, whether it's how we just spend our love currency each day. We can wake up each day and say, okay, Lord, today, who do I get to love? Lord, today, how many people can I come in contact with and make this the best day of the week because they came in contact with me today? What can I do to change someone else's life today? What can I do to bring someone to the point of asking me, what is it about you? Something is different about you? What's going on in there? Because something about you is like, it's not you. It's like it's more than you. It's like it's attractive, and I want to find out, what is it? To which you get to say, I thought you'd never ask. Can I tell you? His name is Jesus Christ. Before you start wondering, let me tell you what Jesus did for each one of us. And it turns into a great conversation about him, and not about us. Because we're giving out, we're showing love, we're showing respect to other people who maybe don't think like us, who maybe don't live where we live, in the same kind of house we live in or whatever. It's easy to love somebody who's just like you, has the same interests. It's difficult to love somebody who's not like you. It's difficult to love somebody who even takes offense or disagreement with what you do specifically. But to love that person, man, that's the greatest love of all. It takes work. It takes effort. It takes practice. But why not start now? Why not start today? I invite you to join us at our church location in Birch Run on Main Street. Go to our website at silvercreek.church. That's silvercreek.church. Go to our website. You can find out all the information about where we meet, when we meet. We would love to see you there. We are meeting indoors. If you want to wear a mask, we respect anyone who wears a mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, we respect those that don't want to wear a mask. We have our seating spaced apart so that we have generous amounts of space between us. We have a special air handling unit we just installed this week that exchanges all the air in the room like every so many minutes. I don't know all the technical stuff to it, but it's pretty incredible. We've done that to create a space that you feel safe in, to create a space that you would feel like, I could see myself there. And so we invite you to come in with us. Next week, I'll be teaching a special message this coming week, this coming Sunday. If you want to be there for that, the date for this coming Sunday is going to be the 20th. How time flies. September the 20th. Wow. Yeah. I'll be teaching a topic all about, it's somewhat of leadership, but it's about what our church is designed to do and what makes our church run the best way it can run. And with us being the church, I need to clarify that. The church is the building. The church is us. We is the church, the people who go to Silver Creek Church. So we're talking about what it is that can make us, cause us, help us to be effective, to be the best possible church, group, gathering that we can be. So I'd love for you to join us. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic week. See you next time.